sport.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there something like that pisses you off about NASCAR now?
Yeah, the thing that kind of has deterred me, I guess, the most over the last couple of years is
Take us through a work week of a NASCAR driver in the preparation.
so I would say Mondays is meetings Monday, right? So like we have a Chevy group driver meeting where we're all hanging out and talking about our race weekend of what was good, what was bad, what was the positives, the negatives, what made us win or finish top 5 versus some of the guys that struggled and didn't run very well, you know? So then the crew chiefs can kind of get a sense of what those drivers were fighting that weren't very good, or what the guys that were good were doing, and what was in their race car, the setup and stuff that was in their race car that made them good. So that's a lot of that on Mondays. And then Tuesdays, you kind of go over the next race plan and what's going to happen for the next race, some of your things that you want to do. Wednesdays is typically like my simulator day. So I'll go into simulator for 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, whatever it might be on that week, and get in there. So we have they're like $5 or $6 or $7 million simulators, you know, like you're in a real cockpit in a real car, and it's on actuators and it's moving and stuff. And there's a screen, 180-degree screen, that you're looking at, and you're going through different setup stuff and trying to work through what's going to make your car faster for that coming up race.
Wait, do the simulators feel like the actual car? Do they have no?
They're not 100%. Like there's a lot of times where it feels really, really close.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. And you get to the racetrack and it's like, damn, sim was really on this week. Like that, it's good. You know, let's go through all those notes. What's going to make us better here? And there's some weeks where you're like, sim wasn't even close. We got to throw everything we did on Wednesday out. Don't even pay any attention to it.
It's kind of like an Ernie card, guys.
Yeah.
The Ernie cards were off this fucking week.
Yeah.
We didn't get any of those looks.
So like sim is so much more important this day and age because we don't have the practice that we used to. So back in my high time when I was winning races 4, 5, 10 of a year or whatever, we had an hour of practice and then we qualified. Then we'd have 2 more hours before the race started. Now you literally show up and you have a 20-minute practice session and then you go qualify and then you race. Like that's it.
Why is that? Why they change it for gas and all that pricing?
Cost. They
Yeah.
say it's a cost-saving measure. They're trying to save the team's money, so we're not out there just burning up engines and tires and gas and everything else, you know. So it's saving the team's money.
Saving the car too.
Yeah.
Can you simulate weather?
In the sim, yeah. You can simulate weather. You can simulate temperature, ambient temperatures. You can simulate track temperatures, how hot the track will be. If there's overcast, obviously track will be less versus full sun. You can do wind. Wow. Wind is a big deal. So yeah, you can do
headwind, nose wind.
This ain't the Cruising USA machine at Dave & Buster's.
No, it ain't. No, it ain't that. No. I wish it was that easy. I went on that damn thing all the time. Let's go. You know, we got one. Let's go.
They have these guys that just ride sims that have come into racing, haven't they?
Yeah, William Byron is probably the most successful, most notable one that I know of, where he grew up as a fan of the sport, just loved racing, got him a simulator and was just simming from 7 years old, whatever it was. And the first time he made it into a race car, he was 13, running like a Legends car or something like that. And then he made it to late models and ARCA and trucks and Xfinity and Cup. So he made his way all the way up through, but he started just on the computer, just on iRacing or the sim or whatever. Yeah.
That's fucking
That's
crazy.
insane.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and his family, like his dad is a financial advisor, you know, he's a money guy. So like he didn't come from a background of racing where my dad, he's a huge car guy. So like we're always in the garage, like we're tinkering with cool cars. Like my dad hand built 5, cool cars when I was a kid. Like he had a 1932 Ford Coupe. He had a 49 Ford sedan. The car truck. What is the car truck?
El Camino.
Yes, he had a cool El Camino back in the day, you know. So yeah, he had all kinds of little cool old cars. But then he was an amateur racer on Saturdays. He'd go to the short tracks across. He grew up in Chicago, Illinois, but then he didn't really race until he moved to Nevada. Las Vegas is where I'm from, and so he was just an amateur racer out there, and just kind of brought up my brother and I through the scene of racing locally in Vegas.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you start with like the little sprint cars or like the little goat cars, the shifter cars and all that shit, right?
Yeah, that's a lot of kids nowadays. There's more things for kids to race now than there was when I was coming up through. So my first thing that I got into was a Legends car, and I was 13, same as William, but like I played the NASCAR video games on Papyrus, like I had my own little computer with the little pedals and steering wheel. So like that's what I got my start with. Sort of similar to William, but I still came up from my dad of working in the garage. Like my dad had race cars, my brother had race cars, and I'm 8, 9, 10 years old figuring out how to work on them with my hands and tools and stuff.
So are you one of the drivers that knows the car?
Yeah. I'm one of those guys, yeah.
Because Cole Trickle didn't know the fucking car.
No, Cole didn't know very much about the car, but he was able to wheel it hard and get some wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad's a mechanic, so I grew up around the cars.
Okay.
But he didn't want me in the cars.
Was he like a dealership mechanic?
No, automotive repair. Small business.
like a small auto repair shop?
Yeah, 12-lift shop.
So my dad was a dealership mechanic. So he worked in a dealership, and then he kind of got tired of that scene a little bit, but then became a Mac tool man. So he was the Mac tool distributor. So he was the guy that rode the routes and sold tools.
He's come day one all the time.
That's right.
Him and the Snap-on guy.
Yeah.
Old Larry.
Yeah.
Larry, let me get a lug nut over here, dude.
Yeah. Tom the tool man.
Tom the tool man.
Yeah.
Now it's so crazy how it's changed. Like I can't believe we talk about your week of preparation. You're in the sim most of the days. Back in the day, you were racing a lot.
Yeah.
That's got to be crazy. You're like a legend that's played through multiple eras.
Fantasy football season is back, and building a league-winning roster shouldn't keep you up all night. Your team might be one waiver wire pick away from complete domination or one injury away from utter disaster. You can lose sleep over it, or you can put those worries to bed with Unisom. Unisom helps you fall asleep faster, wake up less, and feel refreshed in the morning. It's the #1 doctor and pharmacist recommended over-the-counter sleep aid brand. Unisom and I also have you covered on the fantasy front. Check out my socials and the episode description for my Unisom sleeper picks to learn which sleeper you'll want to stash on your roster to help you bring home the championship. And be sure to pick up Unisom too. Use as directed.
Because what's something, if you were head of NASCAR right now, that you would change?
To benefit me?
Just in general, rule this, that, like that drives you nuts because you've seen it where it was, and we all, products of older environments, always think it's a little softer with the newer environment, at least in our sport.
Yeah.
I don't know, is there something like that pisses you off about NASCAR now?
Yeah, the thing that kind of has deterred me, I guess, the most over the last couple of years is we've gone to this new next-gen race car. It's our 7th generation of a NASCAR car. And it's a kit car. So we call it the Walmart car. Like everybody buys all the same stuff, all the same parts, all the same pieces from all the same suppliers. And then they put them together like a kit car, and then we all go race. And so there's supposed to be parity. And in the first year with this car, there was like 16 or 18 different winners. Now there's not. Like now that the big teams, the cream always rises to the top.
Ooh.
So like the Hendrick guys, the Gibbs guys, and the Penske guys, Hendrick is the top Chevy team, Gibbs is the top Toyota team, Penske's the top Ford team. Those 3 teams are the ones that are winning all the races now. So the lower teams aren't really winning, like we don't really have the advantages of the 40 or 50 or 100 engineers at the shop that are figuring out the little gray areas that you can kind of work in. I'm not going to say cheating, but basically you're working towards that and making these things go faster. And so there's just a lot of really smart people at those teams that make their cars faster.
What are some of the gray areas that these guys take advantage on? Like how if we got all the same parts and the same shit, how are some faster?
You bend some parts. You manipulate the parts when you build your car. You kind of change. You buy them from the shelf, you bring them off the shelf, and then you kind of mold them and change them and heat them up and twist them and bend them a little bit into where they still conform to the general spec of the car, and you don't get busted for it in tech.
Kind of like
until NASCAR
stealing.
catches on to it. Once NASCAR kind of finds something that you're doing, they'll strip it away from you and they'll make a new rule whenever they want.
It's like the brotherly shove.
Yeah.
We got to take that shit out.
Yeah.
These fucking guys are bending the rules.
Is there any advantages in cleats? Like, do y'all have any like special cheater up cleats or anything like that guys could?
No, but you can't wear like weaponry, like the Gronk thing. I think like that's gotten outlawed. Because remember he used to wear the big brace.
Yep, I remember. Yeah.
Like they do, like they have a fine guy. So when you come off the field after your pregame warm up, there's a guy that finds you from the league or comes to you and say, all right, your socks are too low, your thigh pads aren't in, your jersey has to be like this. If you don't change it, we're going to fine you.
Okay, so you get a chance to fix it.
We get a chance to fix it.
Gotcha. Okay.
We get a chance to fix it.
Yeah, that's kind of like us. Like if you're caught with something in post-race tech or whatever, if it's a big deal, they'll say, no, this ain't right. You're getting fined and, big deal. They'll make a big deal out of it. But a lot of times it's kind of like a slap on the wrist. Like, hey, don't bring that back.
Don't bring it back. But what about that Sunday? You can use it that Sunday?
You got away with it on this one. You got one by us this time.
I mean, you got to get one by. You got to get one.
That's the old school NASCAR. Like that's the cool stuff. So you're the new car, you can't really do all this. That's one thing that I would change is like going back a little bit to the old school way of how the cars were made and built by the teams. Like you look at F1 right now and you see like McLaren now has an advantage where it used to be Mercedes and long time ago it used to be Ferrari.
Yep.
And you got these guys come up with these new trickeries that then they get to use and exploit throughout the season. And so in NASCAR back in the day when teams were building all their own cars, one team might say, hey, we know if we make a badass chassis, like that's going to take us to wins. Somebody else might think, hey, if we make a badass body and we make more downforce with aerodynamics than somebody, that's going to be our advantage. Some guys would be like, hey, we're going to put it all in the motors and we're going to build bigger motors than everybody else. And that's going to win us races. Now it's just, it's not
harder.
It's way harder. Yeah.